Hey guys, welcome back to the Hybrid Network and another discussion on everyone's favorite killer clown horror story, not that you have much to choose from, It. I like talking about this book, if you couldn't tell from the countless videos we've done on it, because to me, It is just a tentpole novel when it comes to horror. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend you go do so, because a lot of the descriptions and experiences within the novel are among some of the best King's ever written. Above all else though, it's actually pretty engaging, which admittedly is something that King is hit or miss with. Because for every misery, there's a Tommyknockers or a Rose matter. But arguably, there's an aspect that I think divides a lot of people, because Pennywise as a clown that transforms into various monsters is terrifying just from the concept alone. The whole sewer drain thing is probably one of the most surreal elements in the novel, and it just works for how utterly repulsive the image seems, not to mention how he targets children, making us feel relatively unsafe. This all works on its own, and it could have easily stopped there, but the book takes another turn with Pennywise that might seem a little out of left field. Pennywise is actually some sort of extra-dimensional, Lovecraftian, eldritch being. Suddenly, that mysterious killer clown is actually just a psychic extension of some larger force that exists in an alternate dimension, and occupied the same space as a floating turtle. Obviously, I'm making it a lot more simple than it actually is, but the point still stands, that's weird. It's really weird, and not weird in the sense that it creeps you out, it's weird in that it leaves you kind of scratching your head. It's a lot to just drop on the reader, because the revelation comes all at once, and then the novel takes on a new dimension where instead of kids fighting some sort of evil out to kill them, it's about man versus some higher power. The kids are facing an extra-dimensional being, and while that can still be scary, I've seen the argument that it disrupts the core conflict of the book, which up to the point that its true nature is revealed was a typical, yet engaging ghost story. And even if I don't personally mind the twist, I can't help but feel that these arguments have a point. I mean, just think about it. You have no previous inclination to the true nature of the creature, you're just following along with its supernatural antics. And then you find out what you've been following is actually some sort of alien figure from another plane of existence that crash landed to Earth in some sort of meteor in prehistory. I mean, it just starts getting a bit confusing, and the mystery of what Pennywise is sort of ebbs away. The terror at not knowing what was the true nature of this clown and its power with the town sort of makes way for general confusion. You're spending way more time just trying to figure out what the hell it is, as opposed to just being afraid of it. Now, I suppose the argument could then be made that it being some sort of interdimensional being might be terrifying in its own right, because while we know where it comes from, we don't really have the capability to imagine it in its entirety. We have no frame of reference for identifying what these otherworldly beings could possibly be, let alone even think about understanding them. I think the general problem though just comes from the fact that we would know enough to deny the idea that we had in our heads. But again, I don't actually mind the twist, not since I found out about the larger role that it serves within the Stephen King multiverse. But you can see the other side of the argument. The mystery behind a force attributes a lot to the overall terror of that thing. And once you're able to place some sort of label onto it, the fear goes away a bit because, well, now you know. There's no real room for discussion anymore, you just know. You know all about it. One of the scarier aspects of the entity is just gone, so I guess that brings me to the question that I want you all to ask yourselves. Does the macroverse make it less scary? I think at the very least it makes it more interesting, but that's not really the topic at hand, is it? It's something I don't know if I can answer myself, honestly. That's why I want to get all of your input. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about this, and thank you for tuning in and just listening to what I have to say. Don't forget to subscribe to the Hybrid Network to stay up to date on all of our discussions and updates regarding it. This is Luke, and I'll see you all next time.